Mark, both teams had chances to get the win today, so overall, are you happy with the point?
They're a tough team. They have good quality in the squad. They have good physicality. It feels like we've dropped two in terms of we had better chances and much more of the ball. But you have to put the ball in the back of the net. If we have a fade in today, getting more bodies in the box to get on the end of the crosses, etc. But I thought, overall, lots of good play. Some very pleasing football, and they're a physical team. You have to stand up against them. They throw the ball in the box. You've got to get first contact. So we did that much better as a back four today. But disappointment to go with three, that's for sure.
Joe Lumley not in the team today. Is that a tactical thing or another contract situation?
No, it's contracts. And as I think I said last time before this game, we've got players at different stages of contract discussion. My selection, my squad will always reflect that. And as I said, also players have got to be distracted by various things. So I've got to pick what I think is the right squad, and that was the right squad today.
What do you think of Sonny Dieng in his first?
I was very impressed with Sonny. I've only seen Sonny in this pre-season, condensed pre-season. I thought he had presence. I thought his handling was good. I thought he punched it well under pressure. Distribution's obvious. He can throw it and he can release it. But I thought he reassured the back four as well. So he must be very pleased with his contributions there.
And is the expectation now that he will carry on instead of Kelly, or?
No, Liam again was very close. We're blessed to have three high-quality keepers. He was disappointed not to play, I'm sure, but he's pushing really hard in training. Likewise Joe. So, we are very fortunate in that respect. But I've got to pick what is right at the time. But today, said he was a choice, and very pleased with.
And the other things today with Manning and Bright, obviously also in contract discussions. Bright playing today, scoring a goal. Is there interest here? Is that part of the reason he's playing, to spark a bit of transfer interest?
No, not at all. Brighty's available. His contract discussions at a different level, different stage, and his situation is different. It's as simple as that. So I can't reveal where they're at, but there's nothing more than that. We've got to be consistent to the players. That's really important. We can't be inconsistent because quite rightly any individual will jump on that. But we've got to do what is right for the club as well. We can't be in a situation whereby we'll get to the end of the season, May, and players will walk away with no value for QPR. It's happened for too long at the club, and as I say, we've got to make sure we look after the well-being of the club. It's really important. So if players commit, fantastic. They want to be here, fantastic. But I'm not being derogatory to the players concerned in any shape or form. These guys are training well every day. No problem at all with them. They're really good guys. I've enormous respect for them. But we've got to do what's best for QPR as well, and that's the key point.
And finally, any update on Ryan Manning and his situation?
No, the discussions are going on. Simple as that, and it's at with Les and the board, it's with Lee Hughes and the board, etc. So they train every day with us. I have the dialogue. I know where they are. Actually, I pick the squad accordingly, and today I pick what I think is the right squad.
Thanks, Mark.
Pleasure.
Mark, does anyone from upstairs tell you if you pick
No.
the right big context?
No. Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, if there was a situation whereby a player was due to go for X million pounds, and that's different. But in terms of selection of the team, no, the board absolutely and leave it to me.
Is anything expected in the next week on either of those?
On either of those,
On Bright or Brian?
in terms of contracts, the discussions are going on. And obviously, I'm very conscious of it, as you are, of the window and where we are, and players that might, clubs can come in and steal your players, and we're looking for 2 or 3 players still. So it's a very difficult and challenging period. There's no doubt about that.
Because this year, obviously, there's only like a month and a half between end of the window and when they can start, selling for other clubs.
I know. It's a really difficult for many. You sit there and think you've got your squad all fixed for the season, you're in a great place, the club comes in and you lose 2 players. So it's a really challenging one. You've got to try and have options available, you've got to make sure you look after your players, but at the same time, Tuesday was a devastating blow for football in terms of the crowd situation. And the financial landscape changed dramatically on Tuesday. Here we are, this should have been a test event today with 1,000 fans. We would have hoped to have fans back in the stadium in the coming weeks. It's all about the supporters. The game's all about the supporters. Everyone was looking forward to all the work that's been done by so many individual clubs to get into that position, and that blow hits you on Tuesday. So in terms of the financial landscape, what you might have been able to afford on Monday afternoon, you can't afford on Wednesday morning. Simple as that. So all of these things have to be taken into consideration. In the Premier League, I'm saying, the land of milk and honey, when you're hearing about 50 mils and 90 mils, and please do not think that it just filters down and naturally we've got 10 mil to spend. It's not the case. There's no crowds coming through, potentially until the end of the season. So, it's going to be a battle for survival for many, many clubs, household names.
Bright got a bit of criticism during the sort of last season, but he looked certainly, he put a sensational performance today, looked very hungry on the ball every time.
Absolutely. I thought he looked superb today. He looked sharp, he looked direct. Sometimes when you have that magnificent attribute of pace, don't complicate it. Sometimes just knock it and go. I don't want to sound like a park coach. I'm just saying, sometimes that's it. When you slow it down and do a step over, and sometimes you can just knock it right to put the afterburners on, and you saw there's not many defenders in this league, and maybe the one above, that can live when he has that sort of fantastic pace. So I thought he was really, really impactful today. He was positive. He looked like he's enjoying his football, and overall a fantastic contribution.
And he started and finished the move for the goal, got fouled at the start of it.
He could have gone down, which was really pleasing. There was one time the box he didn't go down. I was raging then, but I can't be kind of everything. But I thought his contribution, as I say, was fantastic today, and deserves a lot of credit for his performance.
That was a dramatic first half. I mean, both sides had shot for a penalty. Did you think they had a penalty shout that got turned down?
Did we have one? I've got to be honest, I thought it was a blatant penalty left-handed. I've just looked at the replay 1,000 times and it hit him straight. It was referred to as hit him in the bugle, was the technical term, but it did hit him straight in the face, and he did well. I mean, that would have been painful. And he did well to recover from that. But it looked to me as if he put his hand up and blocked it. But no, it wasn't. But as I say, shouts at both ends. But I think we moved the ball well. We were sloppy to get that type of goal away. But their threat was really limited, I felt. I felt we dropped 2 points, basically.
And that's the thing, the set piece obviously will rankle a bit, but I mean, the defending for most of it was pretty good. That must be a massive boost.
And a lot of work goes on, and I'm I get frustrated because you see the game last night, Huddersfield and Forest, and Abiobi, it's a great ball across, which is an inch away from being turned in. They're the margins at this level. They're the margins, and as you say, you saw Tom Cowley kick at the end there, you think it's going to go over, and you actually think he's going to score, and they're the fine margins, and they get turned in. We played Forest here, great 2-0 clean sheet, nice start to the season. Lewis Grabban, 8 times out of 10 is going to score that, and that's where we are. So the frustrations, and it's really, really fine margins.
Just finally, you obviously talked about transfers coming in and going out. You talked about Joe Gubbins last time, and there are other players in the squad that may be going on loan. Do you see them moving quite soon, or?
This is I don't want to get myself bogged down in, but you think of the financial situation and where National League clubs, for example, might be. I was driving to work in the morning, and Jamie Ahar was talking on the radio and said that National League crowds are coming back, great, National League can resume, and that day we get the news from Parliament. So you wonder, is that loan option for young players to go out and play, for example, in League 2, National League, and Lower League 1, for example? Is that option still going to be there? Can those clubs afford it? It's all these questions. I don't know, but yes, Joe, the likes of Odie, the likes of Faisal, these guys, the young 23 players need to get out and play. Absolutely. That's how they learn the game, they develop, and they come back more ready to deal with that level of performance.
But the Tuesday decision means that you might change it?
No, we don't know. Will there be options for them to go out? Will there be fixtures? Will the National League, you tell me, you guys might know more. Is the National League going to commence anytime soon? Do we know? And all these type of conversations. So as I say, it's where they go to play their football, how much finances do the clubs have available to contribute or take these boys, and maybe relocation money, for example, or flats and all this type of stuff. And as I say, it's very, very difficult time for football right now.
Would you need these National League clubs to contribute some wages?
No, it might be a club up north takes him and he has to have an apartment. Yeah. These young boys are not on big money, so we may say, well, there's no contribution to wage, but they might have to look after them, and can they afford to do it? And it's all these questions. The financial landscape is very, very bleak, and I honestly, my personal view is it's been a little bit brushed under the carpet at the moment. I think it's a bit of a house of cards. If 1 or 2 go, I think we're in a dangerous situation here. There's no money coming in. Simple as that. There's no hospitality, so you let people go. At the moment, players aren't being impacted, but I don't know how long it can go on for.
Does Tuesday's decision impact what you can do in the transfer?
Yeah, I'm sure it will do.
Bringing players in.
Because we would have hoped to have, even if we had 25% of the crowd, for example, by December the 1st, maybe 50% by January. At least you've got income, the shops are open, the hospitality's been, this is QPR, but every club's the same. And it was a real devastating blow because so much work had been done, and you would think outside is far, far safer than inside, for example. Yet the game is going to, I'm sure you guys will write about it in far more detail than I can give you, but I just think that for me it was a really big blow on Tuesday. At the moment it's being somewhat ignored because you hear 90 million and 50 million for Benfica centre half. That's not the world we live in, unfortunately.
Are you still hoping to bring in one or two?
I hope we bring in 2 or 3 if we can.
2 or 3.
Yeah, that's what we need. The games at the moment are once a week. When they go to once every 3 days, injury, suspension, fatigue will really kick in, and we've got to make sure we have the depth and the quality to deal with that type of challenge.